I'm going to show you a way you can save time when creating a kitchen extract post-clean verification report, otherwise known as a PCVR report. So when you're on site and you're taking your pre-clean, post-clean photos and measurements of grease, then you don't want to have to be entering the recommended TR19 cleaning points every single time. So the TR19 standard stipulates 7 cleaning points where you're going to want to be taking measurements and collecting some photographs. Let's go ahead and see how we can add those using the shortcut. So in the inspection section, you'll see we've got these two buttons, add preset and add item. We could just go ahead and add those items individually. So putting the building, the level, and the location. You can see we've got those suggestions here, but we're going to have to do this 7 times, which is kind of part of the problem. We have to also remember which points in the system are required. So that's another thing that we might not know, especially if we're just starting out in this industry. So rather than doing that, we can use the preset. Now, presets within our app let you add multiple items at once. We're just going to add the parts of the item that are known. So for example, the different cleaning spots, and then it's up to you to fill in the remaining information. Let's see how it works in reality. So just tap this button here, and you can see we have the TR19 recommendations. If I tap this, you can see it's going to add 7 items as indicated by this number here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now you'll see I'm being prompted for the building and the level, and this is just to save me from having to write this out on every single item. So I'm going to say we're in the main building and level 0. Let's hit save and see what happens. Well, you can see it's added these 7 items and it's also highlighted them in red. You can see on the left hand side we have this little indicator. Now whenever you see this red highlighting, it's telling you there's something that needs to be done. In this case, we're going to need to go in, add some information and save the record. As soon as we save the record, the highlighting will disappear. So let's work our way through them. I'm going to click this one here and I can put in a measurement. So maybe this was 500 microns to begin with. We'll say we did a wet film thickness test as the method. I'm not going to put the photos in just to keep this demo short, but I'm going to say we completed the clean, and the post-clean method was a visual assessment and it was 50 microns. So I'm going to hit save, and you can see that the little highlight has disappeared as expected. So we know we've done that one. We can move on to the next one, work our way through this form again, completing as we go. As soon as we hit save, again that highlight disappears. So by adding the items from the preset, we've done a few different things. One, we've saved ourselves some time. So you wouldn't want to have to manually key in these different inspection points over and over again when it's going to be the same from one job to the next. So that's the first thing. Next is we have removed some amount of human error. So it is prompting the user, the cleaner or the inspector, as to what those cleaning points should actually be. And because they've come straight from the standard, you know that you are completing the job in the correct way. The other thing we haven't really talked about is that you might actually have your own process which you want your operatives to follow every single time, and it could be some additional cleaning spots in addition to the ones that the TR19 stipulates. So for example, you might include Canopy on this list, in which case that preset would have 8 items, not 7. That's something that we can easily tweak for you. So if you get in touch with us and let us know exactly which points in the system you do tend to clean, then we'll make sure that they're added every single time from the preset. Also, if you have different types of jobs which have different types of requirements, then there's nothing to stop us from actually having multiple presets in this list. So you could have TR19 commercial, for example. If it was a commercial building, you get the idea. We could actually add as many of these as you want to make sure that the different types of jobs are being completed in a methodical and standard way. So another thing I just want to mention here as well is that on the preset, you can see we are currently just populating the location, but there's actually nothing to stop us from populating other things too. So if you had some custom fields on here, for example, or there's some office notes or something you always populate in the same way, then we can include those in the preset so you're not again having to type them every single time. that's usually a process of just speaking to our support team and seeing exactly what you want to be populated every time. The more work you put into this, by the way, the more you're going to get out. So if you're finding yourself repeating the same thing over and over, then that's usually an indicator that we can make things a little bit faster for you by including some of these things within the preset. Now, this template has been set up with the TR19 standard in mind, which is one of BESA's standards. However, if you work to a different standard, for example, NAD21 by NADEC or something along those lines, then let us know. We can easily customize this to suit. You're not required to work to a particular standard or not. We can customize the template to suit, although we do follow what we consider to be the sort of main standards in the industry. So if you do get in touch with us, if you do work to a different standard, then we can copy this report template and actually make something a bit more customized to what you need.